Coming into the day was very easy, simple. From last Friday, we set a high and we just started ranging out in the middle of it. So, from this accumulation, I knew price was going to look to take out the top and the bottom the next day or the following week. Monday came in. Asia, we just started gapping up. We just started slowly accumulating higher. London is where it starts. If you pay attention to London, you could easily spot what will happen for the rest of the day. London, we set a high, right? But around pre New York, around 8:15, right? We take it out. But ES, it never took it out. ES was just going lower and lower and lower. But NQ was doing the manipulation. So if you looked at ES would give you a clue that once we took out this high, right? It's not protected. Price could come back up to it and manipulate it again to continue us lower. So this was your first SMC that could have gave you a hint of where price is gonna go for the rest of the day. So this SMC didn't really do much except just rebalance us a little bit. Then as we were going lower, but on ES we did respect this high and we've been trading away from it. At 9:20, 9:15, 9:20, we started going lower. We started moving lower, right? 9:30 opened up, NQ manipulated higher, right? So you have a fat SMT, took out this high. You have Turtle Soup as well. ES is still protecting these highs. London is protected. Pre-New York is protected, and we've just been trading away from it. Let's go on the lower time frame. Let's see what price did. So swept all these highs. Looks like just literally low resistance, like all this accumulation. Price is gonna look to take it out. So your DOLs for the day, you knew were bearish after this SMT and the manipulation at 9:30. These would have been your DOLs. So obviously, you had these lows here, just curvature of just straight up liquidity. You had this DOL, this DOL, this DOL, this DOL, and the final one would have been down there. Yep, which price did take out at the end of the day, and we started reversing. So you'll see how price will play out. So when you have DOLs, you have internal DOLs, right? Which price can take out, rebalance, and continue dumping. And you have major DOLs. When price takes them out, it's going to look to rebalance, or when I say rebalance, it would look to rebalance the entire range, or completely reverse, which is what price did after it took out this DOL. It just completely reversed. Why was this the DOL right here? Because look, Friday, straight up accumulation. It took out everything, respected the BISI side of it, set a perfect low, and we were trading away from it. So this would be the last low price would look to take out, and these would come back later. Price would look to take those out later in the month, or even not this year, maybe next year, who knows. Macro time, Turtle Soup, SMC, easily bearish. Just look for any rebalance, displacement, and you'll take it. So you didn't really have the best order block, but it could have still worked from here to here. Price was legit just trading away from the order block and looking to go lower. Over here, a lot of people got tricked out. Why are we not longing? Why are we not souping? Because look, we took out this, okay? So why is price not going higher? I know ES was going lower at the time. Did it take out Asia? Let me see. But it did take out this. Yeah, it took out Asia. So you have SMT at the lows, right? This SMT, I know it flipped this entire candle bullish, okay? But you got to look at it from a bigger perspective. Fat candle, Turtle Soup. Okay, you guys think we're long. We're longing now. We're longing. No, but in reality, we've just been trading away from these highs. Price was just making new lows, rebalancing, going lower, rebalancing, going lower, taking out lows, rebalancing, and going lower. So you have your Turtle Soup here. Again, price rebalancing back into this order block. It's not much, but it's a PD area you could have shorted from. Any order block, literally any PD array right here that you see hold could have literally shorted. Even this candle after it took it out, Turtle Soup, price slowing down, dying out, no displacement to what? Continuous higher. If this would have held, I would look these following candles. I want to see them take us higher. I don't want to see them slow down here at just this high. I want to see us go past this high, and then from there look for a rebalance displacement to then target these highs. But we never got that. Price just disrespected this bullish candle because it didn't really do much. It just took out a little bit of the accumulation, and our draws are much lower. You have all this accumulation, this low resting liquidity you can easily target to take out. Entries were everywhere. You could have literally entered as this displacement candle was going lower. Stops here. 10 points, or even if you had at this high here, you know, anywhere here would have been fine. But here would have been perfect as well, because you don't want to see price go past the SIBI. TPs at the low, simple trade, 2 candles, 3 candles, you would have hit TP. All right, second trade you could have caught was this off the turtle soup, right? Price is slowing down, not much displacement. We're gonna definitely disrespect this BISI. So once you see this candle open up, proper displacement, it's not really slowing down, enter, stop loss at the high, which was the last manipulation, targeting these lows or your DOL, which would have been right here, 35 points. So 2 short trades you could have taken, okay? Any longs here would have been risky unless you were like literally just caught this candle perfectly. At the low, you were targeting this high, it would have been met, nice 30 points anywhere here. But I know the candle flipped really instantly and it was really hard to catch, so focusing on the shorts would have been the easier trade to do. Here, again, as we displace past the drawn liquidity, what is price doing? We're going to ignore any SMT, but any bullish SMTs at these lows don't matter. Why? Because we have this fat bearish SMT that's still holding with the turtle soup order block, and we've been trading away from it. So why are you looking for reversals here when you have more draws and turtle draws in the middle of accumulation? You know, if you're looking for reversals, it would have to be from major drawn liquidity, major highs or lows here or here. This is where you would look for reversals, you know, never in the middle of ranges, because what's the point of looking for mid-range reversals? It's not going to make sense. It's just going to be a rebalance. So what did price do when it took out the DOL? Rebalance and went lower. So you have this SIBI respected, and we've just been ranging inside of it, right? So you know price is going to look to go lower. Many taps, if you want to see any displacement higher, again, full candle closure above these highs, above the SIBI, price disrespecting it and going higher. So displacement, your rebalance and displacement is how you would have caught the longs if they were in play here, but they weren't since it was just shorts. Took out the DOL, rebalance, and we went lower. So entries you could have entered here for the shorts, okay? Targets, you could have targeted this eternal low or the candle bodies. If you see a fat wick like these with bodies with them, always target the bodies, especially near highs or lows, because you don't know how price is going to react off the wick. Price could literally come in, respect the CE, and reverse, you know, or look to manipulate again before dumping lower. So always target bodies, not the wicks, if you see a fat huge wick on these candles. But the way this candle displaced was really nice, clean, so you know price is going to look to go lower again. This would have been your first short entry anywhere on this candle as price is respecting it. Stop loss above the SIBI, boom, first short, second short, and this would have been the last short you could have taken lower. So even though this was late into the macro, it was still permissible because price was still playing out, you know, it was clean, it wasn't really that choppy. So internal manipulation side of the SIBI is still bearish. So as you see price displace away on this candle, entering, stop loss above the recent manipulation and rebalance, targeting here, this first internal low, or here would have been fine. Entry shorts were everywhere. Every time we took a DOL, price rebalance, you know, especially down here, price started slowing down a lot. Why? Because we're getting close to a reversal area. Price is going to look to reverse from here, this range. So price did, you know, just chopped around, did some rebalancing, 940. I know some shorts you could have taken for the longs here. I know some of you guys were longing. You had some temporary bullish SMTs you could have took, but any longs were really just a rebalance, you know, because we're still on the PXL. Price kept displacing past lows, rebalancing, and going lower. So this would have been the last PXL range you've had right here. Or my bad, this one as well, but this one was the last clean one, you know. Marking out the wick that price, you know, was slowing down at. Displaced past it, and we've just been going lower. So any longs here would have been valid if you knew where to target properly. So displacement, rebalance, and another displacement. So let's say you entered here, stop loss literally at this low here, or even at the low of it, and targeting a simple 1-to-1 right here below the PXL, or even at this wick high right here would have been valid. You know what I'm saying? But you could have just scratched the longs and just waited for the shorts to come and play. Rebalance it to PXL. Price is going lower, really choppy. But you could have taken shorts, I'm not gonna lie. You could have taken it anywhere. You just had to be patient with your TP. Enter here as price is going away from it, so you could have had your SL here, right? You didn't even have to take this entry, I'm gonna be honest. Shorts valid at 940 right here. or yeah, 947. My bad. Clean shorts. Here you could have taken them stop loss at this wick high, right? And TPs this internal low, this internal low, this internal low right here, which would have gotten hit. And that's pretty much it. After that, I know some of you guys took PM. Let me see what it was. 13. Right here, this was PM. It was really choppy though, since price is dying out later into the macros. And it was, what do you call it? Monday, really low probable, not much to do. But rebalanced, went lower. Another rebalance right here. You know, price didn't really displace past the CB. It did wick it, but if you had your stop loss at the high of it, it would have never gotten touched, or even at this high, it would have been nice. TPs, this internal low, or even this low here. I know some of you guys took this trade, which clean and valid. That's pretty much it for the entries. Yeah, today was a really simple day. Clean and simple. Manipulation was really easy. Bearish manipulation, so we're not going to look to reverse anytime soon, especially during New York AM. If price wanted to reverse, it would usually be between 10 a.m. to like 12 p.m. You know, you never see price reverse later on in today. It would look to reverse during closing hours, because closing hours we would have like a random pump. You know, price would look to rebalance the range, which is what it did. We rebalanced to the CE of the range, and tomorrow, what price could do is rebalance lower, go higher, or we can just disrespect this PD array and continue going lower. You know, bearish for the week. But we'll see what tomorrow brings in. Let's get into my recording. Yeah, we're recording. Alright, here, yeah, you could have targeted more, especially after we displace, rebalance, and we're looking for displacement. But your TP was perfect, you know? From your entry, TP was perfect, because if you targeted more and price dug deeper into your SL to look to rebalance, then dump, you know, you could have gotten fried, I'm gonna be honest. But perfect TP though right here. And too many market structure shifts, you know, unless you're trying to mark them out for practice, this is just too much, I'm not gonna lie. If you're looking for market structure shift, it would be like here. This is where a market structure shift would be, since price is shifting from bearish to bullish. Forward test, valid, clean. Your TP could have been at this low, because this order block had no, like, it had no value in it, you know. It is gonna look to get ran. Beautiful Kanshima.
Yo, I got.
Good.
Yo, is that candle at 933? Is that considered internal manipulation?
Maybe only 1 minute. That wick high right here.
Yeah, that one right there.
So you're saying like this right here?
Yeah, is that considered internal manipulation?
Yeah, it could be. It could be considered internal manipulation. But to be honest, you didn't really need to look at it that deep. You know, on the 15-minute you had like nice turtle soup and SMT, so you didn't really look for any internal, because you had an external manipulation that was running the market, and you would have been chilling.
Okay. And then for reversals and continuations, do we need internal manipulation or no?
No, internal manipulation will look to give you rebalances. External manipulation is where the real reversals will happen, or continuations. You know, anytime you have internal manipulation, like if you look at the 50-minute, you know, since Asia was manipulating lower faster and stuff like that, any SMT you had at these lows right here, I'm sure you had like a bunch here, you had here, you had here, I'm pretty sure you even had like here, bunch of turtle soups. All those SMTs, I mean, the turtle soups and the SMTs, all it did was what? Just look to rebalance. You know what I'm saying? Every time you had an SMT internally, it just rebalanced to continue us lower. Why? Because you had an external manipulation at the highs right here, and you had turtle soup, and price was just respecting it and just continuing the bearish trend. You know what I'm saying? So don't get faked out by this internal manipulation. You know, if anything, you'll just look to rebalance before selling off again.
That makes sense. Yep.
I got two questions. So I entered at 36. What would have been your immediate stop loss if you entered at 36?
36 right here.
Yeah.
As it was displacing lower right here. Yeah. Stop loss.
I entered candle closer.
Candle closer, so you entered here at the bottom, right? And
yeah, what would have been your?
Yeah, your stop loss at the highs would have been nice. Yeah, right here.
And then also, so I used the order block. Yeah. Was that valid even though we hadn't disrespected CE of the BISI?
This, yeah, it was valid because we had external manipulation. Every time you have manipulation in order blocks and price is just trading away from it, don't expect
Mhm.
this PD array to hold because this, it has no value because look what ES is doing at the same time. ES was looking to go lower. So 930 right here. So 930 opened, ES is dumping lower. NQ was doing the manipulation. So this will get ran all the time.
Mhm.
Yeah.
All right. Thank
Yep.
you.
This is done. This is done. This is done. Alright. J Lou. Same thing. You entered too late. You could have caught 947 would have been clean. Targeting the lows perfectly would have been nice. Entry was too late. Your stop loss was right. It was correct stop loss, right? But you just got trailed out, unfortunately. TP candle closure right here at the body. Because what did price do? Just react off the CE, rebalance, internal manipulation, then we continue lower. So it's what price is looking to do. Always try to TP nearest 30 points or nearest draw. Again, too late into the longs. You should have taken them off this displacement right here, right? And TPs anywhere in this right here. You know what I'm saying? Because after the price started to slow down, it just looked like it's going to continue lower, chopping. Brandon, same thing. Hella late into the shorts. Not that late. It could have been valid still, but what do you call it? TP. You're TPing too far. You're TPing at the DOL. When we stop this low, price is going to look to rebalance, then continue lower. You know what I'm saying? If anything, if you're looking to
Yes.
hold, go ahead.
My bad. My question is, well, I know you about to say if I'm looking to hold, keep my stop where it was,
Yeah.
so I can allow for a rebalance, right?
Yeah.
My question is, I thought that we might have PXH at that high, after we had pushed up. So I was wondering how everybody knew that we were gonna reverse so early into that range. I didn't know until we closed below CE of that civvy. I mean that
Which high?
BISI.
This right here?
Nah, if you go, yeah, like 905 or 820.
That? Oh, this right here?
Like those sets of highs, yeah, I thought
This
we
right
might
here?
continue up to the next drawing liquidity. So I was waiting for that to get invalidated. I didn't have enough confirmation until we had the rebalance and more displacement.
So if you were looking for PXH, price would look to go higher, especially since this right here, look at it. This would not be the PXH here. You know why? Because look where PXH would be. PXH would be over here. You know what I'm saying? After price continued past these highs right here. If we pushed up past these highs, you know, clear full candle closure. If we had 3 of these candles right here, these big body white candles, past this and then rebalance, then go higher, it would have been clear PXH. But this was just the recent highs that we made from pre-New York that ES was just using as manipulation to go lower. You know, if we're looking for
Okay.
PXH, it wouldn't be deep in this bottom in the middle of here. You know what I'm saying? It would be like external highs or lows where PXH would be. You know, right here.
Okay.
So PXH would be here. Let's say price went higher, came back, then went higher. Then you would have caught your longs anywhere here, and then that's still at these lows. You know what I'm saying?
So we could have anticipated the reversal just off of how
Yeah.
many times we wicked into that BISI and the fact that we were rejecting already.
Yeah, and ES was the leading pair of the manipulation. So ES wasn't going higher. You know, it was still respecting the London highs. So you had this, ES was respecting, and you had this, ES was respecting, and we've just been trading away from it. So you know, New York is gonna do the manipulation, make the SFT,
Yeah.
then follow ES.
Okay.
Yeah, so don't get faked out by PXH. If both of the pairs were aligned, both of them were longing, then PXH would have been clean and valid. But since one was dumping, the other one was manipulating, you would look at the one that's dumping, and that would be the truth teller. You know, this one would tell you that, okay, ES is looking to go lower and take out these draws. So NQ is going to look to follow behind after it finishes manipulating and tricking out people into longing.
Okay, that makes sense.
And you end
That second trade I took was really just it was really just a revenge trade, to be honest. I was already in that mindset
Yeah.
that I wanted to take another trade, kind of like I told you last week.
Yeah.
And then I just used the displacement as a logical reason to get in, but it wasn't.
Yeah, this one.
Yeah, that's why I had to go run because
Bro, yeah, this one
I was
is-
real, to be honest.
See how this trade, you know, you didn't really lose as much, but the second trade, that one hit.
Yeah, I lost. Yeah, I lost a lot more.
This one hurt more than the first one because you wasn't really supposed to do it. He wasn't really following the rules and stuff like that. This one, even if you were gonna look to short earlier, bro. Never short at the bottom. Look to short at the tops.
Okay.
Yeah. So avoid this. This one, just TP properly at the recent lows. You know what I'm saying? Even though it might be
Okay.
like weak $200, $300. Your TP is valid.
Yeah, the reason I didn't
Yeah.
TP there is because it wasn't even a 1-to-1.
Yeah.
But I mean, taking that is better than losing if I already entered the trade.
Yeah,
So
bro. Especially after price takes this, I was gonna look to rebalance or continue lower, then rebalance, then continue. So you could have literally just taken another entry after price took this out, then gave you another confirmation for the shorts, and then you could have re-entered. I would prefer you to take 2 trades at New York AM, then come back in like 10:40 or not even at 10:45. Wait, this is 10:45. We just have CT time. But
no, that was the end of the macro. So I already knew I shouldn't have been trading really past like 9:55.
Yeah, I'm Friday. But yeah, you should have taken your shorts anywhere here, bro. These would have been valid targeting these lows. You know what I'm saying? So, especially after this.
Oh yeah, that's why you said to target the bodies when the wick is long.
Yeah, bro, because price could literally come CE, respect the wicks, and then just look to manipulate you again, trick you out, whatever. Always TP at the bodies if the wick is too long.
Okay.
Shorts here, you could have literally re-entered shorts after you got stopped out or you got trailed out. Here, you see how price is respecting, not going higher. You have internal manipulation as well here. I don't know why on M and Q this wick is high. It confused me. I was looking at my chart. I was like, the wick was not that high. But after you see price respect this, and it's trading away from it, you can literally re-enter on this displacement candle again. And then you could target your GOL that you were like looking to target. You know what I'm saying? Or flat 30 points you could have easily gotten from that. So, if you took a loss or you got stopped out early, look for a re-entry. If you're really, really, really trying to trade again, just look for a re-entry. Make sure it makes sense. Okay, don't just cope and just FOMO into another trade. It doesn't make sense. You're allowed to take 1 trade to 2 trades, but make sure they make sense. Okay, don't just take the second trade because you're tilted or overtrading. Make good use of your second.
Because honestly, I didn't even lose that much on the first trade. It wasn't a big deal at all. I could have just stepped away.
Yeah, bro. But we'll work on this. When time comes, you'll be able to understand and learn and move on from past these losses. They're small, but you'll be good. You'll recover.
Appreciate it.
Yep. Sure. Yep. If we didn't have that fat bearish SMT, would your higher time frame narrative for the macro been bullish? I thought we was bullish, but didn't see the SMT. Yeah, if we didn't have this fat SMT here from like London or whatever, I would look to long after we take out, let's say, like these lows or these lows, Asia lows, whatever. But since we had this bearish SMT, I'm never gonna continue to take out all this low resting liquidity, because this is like free money. I'm gonna be honest. You're good, CB3. 930 eval, 1045 forward test, 145 back. Beautiful trade, perfect. Yep, 930 runs the highs. Here, found to take the higher time frame BOL, leaving SMT. Failure to displace above BISI, disrespects BISI, yep. Price rebalances after sweeping the low, trapping traders in long with big green candle. Yep, perfect on this candle right here. You didn't get tricked out by it, and you knew exactly what the purpose of it. Small BISI, disrespect here with displacement lower, perfect. Jersey, this is beautiful, bro. 10 out of 10. Good TP, yep. So key takeaways there on the true narrative is to not look to the middle of the range manipulation for a reversal. Yeah, always look for external manipulation if you want to see a reversal. Never focus on internal manipulation. The only true purpose of internal manipulation is to rebalance. Alright? Rebalance and trick traders into entering longs to then take them out. That's the true purpose of manipulation. It's in the word. What does manipulation stand for? Tricking people, So when price is looking to internally manipulate, people will think, alright, we're going to reverse at this low. We're going to reverse at this low, And you see people longing everywhere here. I'm sure you see them on TikTok or everywhere. People longed here, people longed here, people longed here, people longed here, people longed here. Yeah, they were up a little bit, but then after price did the rebalancing, they all got stopped out. They all got faked out. Is it okay to enter before 940? Yeah, it's okay. If you see a proper trade, proper signatures, and proper movement, just take the trade. Don't worry about the timings. Love, see you in Duca. I papered these shorts because I didn't think they were A+. I thought High time frame narrative was bullish because I didn't see the bearish SMT, but once we took out the high at pre-market open, I wanted to wait for internal manipulation because we didn't turtle sweep the high or slightly sweep it nicely, and I was just trying to do the internal manip stuff Salman was talking about recently. Anyway, my bad for yapping, you're good. I don't know if any of that made sense, but I feel like I'm at a stage where I keep seeing entries in macro, and in my head I think this could maybe play out, but I'm unsure, so I'm going to paper it, and it plays out and it ends up being the best trade in entry in the macro. Is you ever at a stage where you were hesitant? Yeah, bro. It's a lack of confidence, you know? And the way to build that is if you just backtest macro and you get an understanding of it, you know that macro works. You know, you see these entries all the time during macro, or my bad, during backtesting. So every time you see an entry, don't be afraid to take it. You know, if you're afraid, just size down and take it. That's the only way you will build your confidence, by just taking it. You know what I'm saying? You're never gonna build your confidence by not taking a shot. If you just sit there all day on the field or on the basketball court, ah, damn, what if I miss? What if I miss? What if I miss? What if I miss? What if you make it? You know, you never say, what if? Stop geeking about the what ifs. You know what I'm saying? Just take the trade. Beautiful trade too. You had the right narrative and everything. Enter, even if it's 5 micros. Enter and take the trade, bro. You never know. It might be one of your best trades and it can make you $1 million. Guys, start locking out your lockout rules and truly said, yep. Beautiful. Do you think looking at ES so much is more bad than good? Because I feel like sometimes I look at it too much and end up overcomplicating things. You want to only look at it when it's in line with your narrative, alright? So, how do I know we're bearish? How do I know we're not going to come here, take out these lows, and then continue higher? ES would have told you everything. ES was just trading away from the protected high. Why do you think we have manipulation? You know? One pair is weaker than the other, so one is not going to take out the high, and the other is going to look to sweep it. So ES being the weaker pair, it's protected, you know? You're trading away from the highs, right? And ES is just going to keep going lower and lower and lower and lower. But NQ, it's the stronger pair. It's going to look to trick people out, displace past highs, then reverse on them, and then... My bad. Displace past the highs and trick traders into entering longs to then liquidate them. You know? ES moves and NQ follows, you know? So if you have a pair that's manipulating, like NQ, look at ES. What is the other pair doing? That will be your telltale. You know, it will tell you the true objective of price for the day. You know, because ES is weak. It doesn't have that much volatility to continue higher. It's not looking to manipulate as much. So every time I got near the high, it would look to respect it and continue lower. So think of ES as an extra tool. Yeah, it will help you with your narrative. Don't focus too much on it. Only focus on it when you're a bit confused. Because if you don't know if NQ is going to continue going higher or what, then you would look at ES. What is ES doing that NQ isn't? Alright, ES 930, it opened up lower. Why did it open up lower when NQ is bullish? Okay, maybe because ES is going to look to go to the objective before NQ. It's looking to continue, and NQ is going to look to manipulate, to trick people. Always think of it as like that. And one day ES might do the manipulating, and NQ might do the continuation. So just keep your eyes peeled. If we're trading away from a protected higher low, treat it as that protected higher low. Price will never go back to it. We'll just trade away from it. Yeah, I feel like I'm just being a bitch, bro. I've backtested so many hours and I'm confident with it when it comes to the moment. And to enter, I just hesitate. I'm probably giving this XFA too much power over me, but what would you say? It's good to just keep things simple. Once I get that feeling, enter with no hesitation. If I hesitate, I do a little punishment. Also to myself all the time, every loss is a lesson. And I'll take be a better trader, bro. When it comes to when I'm trading, I'll just go. Yeah, bro. To get over this feeling, sizing down. Sizing down will help you get over the fear. The fear aspect of the XFA. I call it funded feelings, bro, because on the eval you could be trading perfectly, taking the perfect OTE entries, sizing perfectly. You have no emotions. You're just locked in. Second, you touch the XFA, you started getting these random emotions, random thoughts. Damn, bro, I could really get a payout. I could really change my life with this. I could really do this, do that. But bro, it's all the same. What's the difference between an XFA and an eval? One has a yellow name. They're both paper accounts, you know? So for you to give it that much power over you in your mind is just silly. Don't let money bitch you. You bitch the money. You know what I'm saying?
Yo, for so on the days like Mondays and Fridays, I've noticed when we take out like a significant piece of
Yeah.
structure and we kind of can anticipate like it'll run for like 200-300 points. Do you put that into your do you kind of use that? Like, have you noticed that on the Mondays and Fridays that we run forever, or do you still just target base
I
points?
always see it, but that just comes with time and narrative, right? So even if you know where price is gonna run, you have to build that
Hmm.
discipline and consistency. Why would you target 200, 300 points when you're barely making 5, 10K months? You know what I'm saying? So
Hmm.
if you really want to target that many points, or you want to target the highs or lows, and you're really confident, make money first from just consistently 30 points or first DOL that comes. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
get liquid first, bro, and then if you really believe price will continue running to these highs or lows, perfect, bro. Take your trade and target that. But until then, base runs, bro. Base runs. Don't go for the home runs. Just base runs will make you more money in the long term.
All right.
Yeah. You will eventually get to that stage where you can target more and trade however you feel like it.
Were you able to spot that today,
Yeah. I took.
like early into the
Yeah,
session?
yeah. I knew price is gonna look to run all of this because this had no power. You know what I'm saying? If you look at this structure, does this look like it'll hold? It'll continue holding forever?
No.
Yeah, it looked like price is this is like easy DOLs to target for making money. But since it's
Mm.
Monday doesn't really have that much volatility in it. Price is gonna look to continue either up or down. So you could easily target these lows, these lows, these lows, these lows. But when it gets to like these deep lows, highs or lows, external DOLs, then be careful because price can reverse. Always target below or above where you think price is gonna reverse. If you know what I mean.
Yeah.
When y'all say to target 30 points or first internal low, are we targeting whichever comes first? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Exactly that. So if the first internal low is like 25 points, 20 points, just take it, bro. Because that extra 10 points is going to be like, what, $200? $100? I mean, what is that going to do to you? Price can literally reverse before it gets there. And boom, you had a sell before that. And if the DOL is far away, you can easily just target that 30 points and boom, you're done with your day. Yeah. Yep. New York AM will always look to take out the people that are in the shorts or the longs before going to the true objective. So you had people here in pre-New York entering shorts, not like 820, right? They thinking they're safe. You know, ES is trading away from this high and from London highs, right? People are entering shorts, shorts, shorts. 930 opens up, takes them out, then reverses. I think you already answered this, but I forgot. But are you trading the last 2 weeks of different, or are you just gonna look at the news driver and trade all days? Around Christmas time, the week of Christmas and following Christmas into New Year's, the volatility will die down a lot. So, if anything, I'm looking to trade these couple of weeks, and then at the end, like near the 24th, the 25th, and the following, is gonna look dead. I'm gonna be honest, like it's gonna look so bad. So if you're gonna look to trade anything, trade it now and this week, the second week, and coming into the 20s and onward, just yeah, be careful. Yep. When does PA usually pick back up after New Year's? Yeah. Beginning of January, you'll see price will look to balance out, clean it up, and then start moving nicely. So right now to like December, just expect ranging conditions. You know, we'll go up, we'll go down, and just chop around for a little bit. Not much volatility to pump us higher or lower. Just decent ranges, like 200, 300 point ranges every day. Any other questions? Sorry for you. I bet. If that's all for you guys, then let's wrap it up. Any wrapping up questions or thoughts? Anything you guys want to say? What are you thinking of doing for the next lecture? I still haven't done the narrative ones or the backtesting ones. I'm not gonna lie. I've just been busy as hell. But I will try to do PA breakdowns every day for you guys, like around 11 a.m., 12 p.m. Every day, even on the days that I do the group calls. So just remind me and I got you guys. Did I look at this external and internal wrong here? External, yep. Yep. This would be internal because we're still in the range. You know what I'm saying? If anything, it would be here. If you're looking for like, cause this you still have all this to your left. External would just be highs or lows without like structure behind it. So this would be external. Those highs would be external right here, and this would be the internal one. Yeah, if there's structure behind it, like candles or whatever, just think of it as like internal. But if it's highs or lows without like much candles, then just internal. No, I don't trade gold. Just NQ. No, it's just structure. That's how you look at external and internal. It's just structure of things. Yeah. Alright, that's all. We will end the recording for... What day is it? December 8th, Monday. Shout out Lucas, Ion, Brandon, CB3, Cypher, Drizzy, Isam, J. Lou, Kenshima, Lucas, Majid, Rayon, that one guy, Akeem, and Zay. See y'all Wednesday. Love.